today. Good to see you back at Tisha Talks Live at 4:45. And I have my very special guest. This is my good friend, Bruce Carnahan, the guy in the blue shirt, officially an Arizona resident. Thank you so much, Bruce, for being on with me today. And he has a hashtag simpler, faster, better, the guy in the blue shirt. And today we're talking about making processes simpler, faster, better. And I love that topic because so many of us just want that. We want that simple, faster, better. So Bruce, thank you so much for being on with me today. You are just, I love that I get to spend this time with you because it is, we were just talking about it in the green room. It has been one heck of a week. And it's so nice to be able to catch up with you, friend, and talk about some strategies and just kind of wind the day down. So thanks, Bruce, for being here. I appreciate
you're welcome. Hey, and I was singing along in the background to your nice little intake. I love that little intake.
Yeah, thank you.
It's kind of, you know, it's your property with personality and your, you know, all your stuff. It's a perfect tune for you. So talk about making it simpler, faster, better to recognize you, you know?
Yeah. I've always loved that little animated Tisha that pops up and she's with music and just kicking her feet up. Like, I think it just gives that vibe of this is who I am. Hope you like it.
It's definitely authentic with a touch of badass.
There you go. Well, good. Well, before we get started, I just want to give some shout outs to some sponsors that are helping me out here in Arizona. We have got special thanks to Gateway Bank. They are a community bank located in the Mesa area. First Option Lending, Mark Powell, and of course, Ken Chan with the Mighty PC that I know, Bruce, you've been able to work with him a little bit. So thanks, guys, for sponsoring the show. So great to have you. And speaking of Social Connect, it is back. 2022 is already planned, and I'd love to see you there January 18th. We have a new venue, Courthouse in Chandler. This place is fantastic. If you are looking for a venue, I highly, highly recommend you go there. 16,000 square feet of outdoor space, a whole basketball court even, cornhole, you name it. It's definitely a social type of setting. So I am so happy to be able to start hosting it there. So January 18th, 4 to 6 p.m., socialconnectphx.com is where you can get information and grab a ticket. So yeah, if you want to be around business professionals and entrepreneurs, that is the place to be. And I know, Bruce, that was your first networking soiree out in Phoenix.
Yeah, my first in person, and what a wonderful event it was. And January 18th already on my schedule. Want to be there to support you and meet with some other beautiful social connectors from the first meeting. What a great event. And I've already forged a couple of new meaningful connections. So that's, you know, it all works, you know, when it's done simpler and faster and better, everything works right.
Oh my gosh, speaking my language. And we've got this gal joining us. Hey there, Mary Fane Brandt off of LinkedIn. Thanks so much for joining us today. I know you have your show at 5 o'clock, so Bruce and I will have to jump on over and catch you in action. Right. All right. So today, Bruce, we're talking about, again, making processes simpler, faster, better. So if you are tuning into this live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or on Facebook, we are open for questions or comments or hellos. So make sure that you drop us a comment. Even if you're not watching the live stream, you can also catch the replay and ask us questions there because we're always monitoring that. But Bruce, I'm just excited. Let's dive right in since we've got kind of a shortened time frame. But why use a specialist like you? Like, why wouldn't they just go about it themselves if they wanted to make their process simpler, faster, better?
All right. Yeah, great question. So actually, they could go about it themselves, right? So that's kind of a given. Pretty much anyone can do anything they put their mind to. But the real difference is it's really the experience. And in fact, on my post today, coincidentally, talks about experience. And you can't really buy all the experience that you get when you're really doing this hands-on, either with people or for people. And I've been doing this for 4 decades now, and I've worked in 5 different countries, and I've worked on more than 140 successful implementations, and in 28 or so different industries. So what the point about all that is I bring a truckload of experience. So I might have seen a way forward or a solution in a different industry or a different country or a different environment that somebody's really scratching their head with and saying, oh, I can't figure this out. I have no clue what to do. I don't know where to start. So it's usually about starting strong and finishing strong. So that's really why people should use a specialist, is to, really get off on the right track and then complete the objectives or the deliverables that they set out to complete. So
Absolutely. Well, and I had oh gosh, Claire on just the other week, Claire
right,
Hodge, and we were talking about coaching and why use a coach. So in that respect, it's very similar, I would think, Bruce, because you want someone to give you fresh perspective. I would assume that people are coming to you going, Bruce, it's not working. It feels like work. Like I don't know how to get through it. And that's where you're like, I kind of see where you are and I see where you could really improve upon some of these processes. Let me help you. So
right,
it's very similar in that sometimes we are so close to that process, or we're so close to our business, for instance, that we just don't know what we don't know, or we just don't see it. Like if it hit us, right in the nose, like we still wouldn't see it.
right.
So yeah, I like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So the other thing is there an industry or a setting that you prefer to work in, or do you feel like, everybody should have this knowledge to make their processes simpler, faster, better? Like, is there a particular industry that you work with or one that you'd recommend?
So the quick answer is no. Again, because of my experience. But what really sets me apart, if I can brag a little bit, is that usually people that do what I do either stay in operations and manufacturing,
Mm-hmm.
or they stay in service-based industries, and they kind of specialize in those two main tracks, as it were. I was very fortunate back in the mid 2000s that I actually worked with a bunch of nonprofit and agencies that were not for profit. And as a result, I learned how to take everything I learned on the manufacturing operations side
Mm-hmm.
and adapt it and modify it so that we could use it in the service delivery business. And we were so successful at that what we ended up doing, again, another shameless plug, is we ended up creating this massive textbook. It is pretty large, but it's actually all of the how to do it right or how to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
We really had to develop from scratch. So that's the other thing that really sets me apart, is I'm used to taking things that don't exist, or I'm used to taking things that are novel or brand new and adapting them to that person or the company's situation. And that takes a certain skill set. You got to be a little creative, you got to be a little scientific, and then you've got to just have this gut feel about what to do. So I bring those three elements: the science, the artistry, and the gut feel to it.
Oh, I like that. I like that. And you're right. I think that if you have gotten all of the, I mean, you said 4 decades of experience that you've had,
Yes.
so
I'm
know
old.
a lot about, coming up with creative processes and making them. Sorry, dog's barking because that's
That's
just
right.
the time that it is. I think it's the ice cream truck that's probably outside.
Well, you better run out and get us an ice cream then.
I know. I'm sending you a virtual ice cream there, Bruce.
All right. Yeah.
But it's so nice to be able to have all of that knowledge and experience, and like you said, apply it, adapt it, and customize it to
Right.
the client that you're working with.
Yeah.
So kudos for doing that. So how many successful projects have you implemented, Bruce?
Well,
4 decades. I hope
4 decades.
a lot.
Yeah. So I kind of stopped counting around 140. I don't know why I stopped counting around 140. I guess because I got to the point where, how much over validation do you really need? I don't really need that over validation. The other thing that is interesting, and we don't really talk about this very much, particularly on LinkedIn, is that most of the people I've collaborated with, or worked for, or worked with, or done this stuff for them, I have a whole plethora of recommendations on LinkedIn. And I think there's about 60 of them there. So if somebody really wants to go and kind of test my validity, they can go all the way back to the late 1980s, which is from a guy called Mark Gravatt. So Mark and I worked on some pretty interesting stuff back in the 80s. And it wasn't called process improvement. It wasn't called lean. It wasn't called continuous improvement. We were in a business that was going out of business very quickly. I mean, we were losing $10,000 a day. Mark and I were put in that business and told, whatever you need to do, you need to stop bleeding $10,000 a day, and then you need to polish up this company so that we can sell it. So that's what we did. I mean, Mark and I and a couple other people. And when you do that kind of stuff, talk about being high pressure, highly creative. But we learned all the elements of what it took to really do a significant process improvement over a short period of time with unbelievable results. So
that's got to feel so great too, Bruce. I mean, you're given a challenge and you're like, all right, we can do this. We're going to do this. And then you make that thing happen. And they're all, you've turned them into believers of, hey, when you have a process, when you have a system in place, it goes so much smoother.
Yep, absolutely. And it's funny because I've never forgotten, we walked around, and it was a company that made a lot of plastic items for the home care business. And, I've never forgotten, we walked into this warehouse, and I inherited this warehouse, and it was 40 feet high, and it was racked ceiling to floor or floor to ceiling. And in that warehouse was 1.2 billion plastic moldings that I inherited that nobody knew what they were or if they were any good or anything like that. It was $400,000 worth of stuff in that warehouse. So,
oh my goodness.
So that was, and like my eyes were like, talk about so big. I mean, I'm like, look, it's like, this is mine. And Mark said, yep, that's yours.
That's yours. Oh, great success story. I love that though. And like you said, I mean, recommendations, you didn't write them, other people did. They're glowing testimonials for the work that you do within process improvement and process cleanup.
And that's kind of a little tip as well. I mean, I don't think we all realize the power of that third party. You know, it's not to be braggadocious. It's just to give people a different perspective about, you know, how they see the value that you bring and how the work that you do for them. And often they'll pinpoint something that, you know, you think, oh, well, there's so what about that? And that, but to them, it was really important. So, so the recommendations are about turning the so what's into, you know, a meaningful statement about how you help somebody. So.
Oh yeah. I just got a couple recommendations today, Bruce.
All right. You better post them. Come on.
They are. They're up there. Now I just need to do some shout outs on it. All right, Bruce, talk to us a little bit more about the Fix It Journal in blue, of course. Tell us a little bit about this journal and where people can grab it. And tell us a little bit about like the process of creating this.
Well, where they can grab it is Kindle Direct Publishing. And if you wished or wanted to, you could put the link in there.
Okay.
The story behind it is an unbelievably interesting example of how LinkedIn works so well. And I interviewed Hallie Avolio on my live show, like you're interviewing me. And she showed in her show an I Am journal, and it had a pink cover. And after the show, I said to Hallie, I said, hey, how many guys do you think might buy the journal? And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, what if you just turned it into the same journal, but with a bright blue color? And I didn't think much of it. Well, several weeks later, Hallie sent me a copy and she said, hey, what do you think of this? And it's like, that is fabulous, Hallie. And then we got chatting and she was doing some searching. And what we found is there's a gap in the marketplace for really guy-centric journals. You know, there's a ton and a boatload of very feminine, creative, artistic type journals, but nothing that was real like punchy and direct and strong colors. So anyway, she introduced me to Caitlin Lish, and between Hallie, Caitlin Lish, and I, we put the Fix It journal together, and it's an annual journal. It's very guy-centric. It's not just for men.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a female and you have an important man in your life, a brother, hubby, work colleague who you know should be journaling and or should be using the power of action orientated journaling, then the Fix It journal is the fix for that problem. So
I just turned to fast tip number 14. This is a
okay.
good one. Be honest with yourself, make it real, keep it real, under promise and over deliver. Oh,
Oh,
Bruce, that's my kind of language right there.
right. And if you were doing the fast tip, you would have 2 weeks to put it in place. So if you show
Uh-huh.
up at 14, so at the bottom there are 2 simple pleasure rewards. And where I came up with that is in 2009, I was both broke and broken. I used to have my own
Mm.
business, and I went out of business in 4 weeks due to the financial crisis. And so what I had to do is find ways of continuing to motivate and reward myself without using money.
Mm.
So I started to create this simple pleasures list, and I ended up with 52 simple pleasures as it happened, one per week. So I've incorporated the simple pleasures into the journal as well, just for fun, little.
Yeah.
So on the bottom of page 14, or what's your 2 simple pleasures that you can do when you do that?
So for 14, it said hug someone you love.
Oh, that was.
We were just talking about that. We were like
Oh,
virtual hugs, Bruce. And then the other thing was a leisurely bath is the
How
other
about
thing.
that?
Yeah, which sounds just about right for today.
I think it's meant to be, Tisha. I mean,
I think so. I think so. So this is a great gift that you can get on Amazon, on Kindle publishing. I think, Bruce, can they just go on Amazon and look for the Fix It journal and type your name in? Okay. So this is a journal you can get. Ironically, I was just talking to a friend of mine, Charles, and he said, I think guys need more journals. He's like, I think a guy journal would be awesome. So I'm going to point him into your direction and grab that as well. Okay, so shameless plug time, Bruce. I know I have a quick video, so I'm going to show that, and then we'll get back in just a second and wrap it up on Tisha Talks Live. And again, thank you so much for people who are tuning into this live. And again, if you have any questions, let us know for sure. So here we go. This is Bruce's shameless plug.
So, what if your processes do not work well? Did you know you can save or eliminate massive amounts of wasted steps, time, money, or other resources? Bruce can show or teach you how. Take the next step. Visit his website at processcleanup.com and book a casual yet confidential call with Bruce. It just might change your world forever.
So cool. I know Trina. Poole. Yeah, VO, voiceover.
Right.
Put that back up there, processcleanup.com. I know, Bruce, you have been super busy on TikTok. And I want to showcase that. This is how you find Bruce. Simpler, Faster, Better on TikTok. Has some amazing videos up there. His love for the Indy car racing, Indy 500. So make sure you check him out there.
Yeah. See,
there you go.
Yeah, have you seen these pictures on the wall yet?
I think I might have.
Yeah, so that's a young Brucey over there.
The young Brucey. Aw.
Yeah, that's right. And interesting enough, I'm under a sign that says strange on it, and I agree.
So back to this. I would much rather be strange than super boring.
Absolutely.
Hands
I
down.
agree with you. I think that's why we get on so well.
Absolutely. And Bruce, I just have to say thanks again. Bruce was, for those of you watching, Bruce was actually my first real estate transaction. So not a listing, but I got to help Bruce get into his lovely home in where we're filming this in Tempe. So thanks, Bruce, for putting your trust in me and being on the show today. It's always a pleasure getting to just chit chat with you and catch up on life and talk about where you're at. And we're so proud of you, friend, for all that you've accomplished in this short amount of time, just since moving here. It's fantastic.
I know. More to come.
More to come. I know. I have no doubt that you will be doing that. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into Tisha Talks Live. We will be back next Wednesday with Erin. She'll be my guest. And just a little heads up, Tisha Talks Live will be moving into a new time starting up in the new year. So we'll have a couple more guests come in, taking a little break for the holidays, and back at it coming in on Fridays at 10:45. Mountain Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time, Arizona time, I like to say, since we don't really change.
Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't change, just to confuse everybody. Talk about not simpler, not faster, not better. It's just like, oh.
I think that's the most confusing thing, though, Bruce, because we don't change time, but we do change zones. So it's like we're not California's time zone anymore. We're now, Denver and Utah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Hey, and don't do what I did. Little tip. Do not do this. Do not make a mass change on your calendar for the time zone, because what it does, it wipes out all of your appointments.
Oh, man.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh. So I have to go and recreate all of my LinkedIn Live appointments, because I did the mass change on all my LinkedIn Lives on every Tuesday and every Friday.
Oh, wow. I know.
Do not do that.
Heard it from Bruce right there. Like, there's a big tip for you to make it simpler, faster, better. I love that. Yeah. I love your hashtag, and really, Bruce, that's what you stand for. Like, this is what you are known for. So I applaud you for making sure that people know that you're the guy in the blue shirt and that you focus on making processes simpler, faster, better.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Bruce. And thanks, everyone. Have a great night. We'll catch you back next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.